Welcome back to the World History, where every scar has a story and every cure has a journey. Today, we begin our incredible exploration into the ancient roots of medicine, a path paved with herbs, prayers, blood, and faith. Our journey opens in the sacred chambers of ancient Egypt. A priest-physician grinds herbs beside a linen-wrapped patient while hieroglyphs of healing gods glow in the candlelight. Egyptian medicine was more than science, it was magic, religion, and ritual woven into one. From honey, salves, to surgery on fractured bones, these early doctors laid the first bricks of medical knowledge. Now, we sail across the Mediterranean to ancient Greece, where the father of medicine, Hippocrates, teaches under the open sky. Scrolls in hand, he speaks not of magic, but of balance, the four humors of the body. Sickness, he claimed, wasn't a curse but a consequence. His bold ideas still echo in modern medicine with the Hippocratic oath sworn by doctors today. In the Roman Empire, battlefield medicine was brutal and immediate. Imagine a surgeon kneeling beside a bleeding soldier, cauterizing a wound with a hot iron while the battle rages nearby. Roman medics advanced surgical tools and triage, setting a standard for future military medicine. Even in chaos, healing found its way, but in medieval Europe, healing often fell to the hands of barber surgeons, men who cut hair by day and limbs by night. Picture a blood-soaked tent filled with groaning patients as a man in a leather apron sharpens his blade. With no anesthesia and little understanding of infection, every operation was a gamble with death. Across the world in ancient China, healing took a different form. In a peaceful bamboo clinic, a doctor inserts silver acupuncture needles along invisible meridians of energy. Traditional Chinese medicine believed in harmony between the body and nature, a philosophy that still thrives in Eastern practices today. Fast forward to the Islamic Golden Age. Inside a grand library in Baghdad, scholars study ancient Greek texts and pioneer new treatments. Illuminated manuscripts spread knowledge across continents. Figures like Avicenna wrote volumes on disease, surgery, and pharmacology, lighting the flame of learning that Europe would soon rediscover. The Renaissance brought that rediscovery. Inside a stone lecture hall, students watch wide-eyed as an anatomist dissects a cadaver. No longer taboo, the human body became a book to be read and understood. This return to observation and experimentation reignited Western medicine. Meanwhile, apothecaries flourished. Imagine a shop lined with labeled jars, crushed herbs, powdered minerals, and exotic animal parts. These were the pharmacists of the past, measuring mystery with every dose. Though rudimentary, their remedies paved the way for modern pharmacology, but fear often replaced science. During the Black Death, plague doctors in bird-like masks wandered foggy streets. Their suits were stuffed with herbs meant to block bad air, and their canes kept the dying at a distance. It was a dark time, but these images remain symbols of the fight for survival. And finally, far from cities and empires, indigenous healers in tribal communities use nature as their pharmacy. Surrounded by chanting tribesmen, a healer crushes leaves and invokes spirits. These traditions, passed down orally, formed a holistic approach that modern medicine is only now beginning to respect. The age of enlightenment and industrial revolution didn't just change how we lived, it transformed how we healed. Medicine was no longer just tradition. It was evolving through war, discovery, and innovation. On the blood-soaked battlefields of the 1700s, survival depended on speed and courage. Picture a battlefield medic, sleeves rolled up, working desperately under cannon fire. He uses saws and knives with no anesthesia, just a flask of whiskey and sheer determination. Despite the pain and horror, these frontline surgeons laid the groundwork for trauma care, but then came a quiet revolution: vaccination. In the English countryside, Edward Jenner carefully scratches cowpox into a young boy's arm. It's a gamble, but one that changes the world. This first smallpox vaccine becomes humanity's shield, and the idea that disease could be prevented, not just treated, takes root for the first time in history. In the 1800s, medicine steps into the light, literally. Inside a Victorian operating theater, gas lamps flicker as surgeons in aprons prepare to cut. Spectators lean in from the gallery, watching with morbid curiosity. Anesthesia has just been introduced, but antiseptics are still unknown. It's groundbreaking and deadly. Yet this era pioneers surgery as a real medical art. Back in quiet clinics, strange therapies persist. Leech therapy is still practiced, with glass jars filled with writhing parasites lining the shelves. A doctor carefully places them on a patient's skin, hoping to balance the body's blood. As odd as it seems, This ancient practice survives even into modern times and still sees limited medical use today. Diseases like cholera continue to devastate cities. In crowded Victorian hospitals, nurses rush between dying patients while doctors search for answers. Filthy water and poor sanitation turn hospitals into death traps. But it's in this chaos that heroes like Florence Nightingale rise, revolutionizing cleanliness, record-keeping, and hospital care. In a dimly lit lab, a woman breaks boundaries. Marie Curie leans over glowing samples of radium, unaware of the dangers. Her discoveries in radioactivity will someday lead to powerful cancer treatments, but at great personal cost. Her courage marks a turning point. Science is now leading medicine into uncharted territory. Around the same time, a new way to see inside the body emerges. In a dark room, a patient's hand is placed under the first X-ray machine. As eerie green light flickers, bones appear like magic on a glass plate. For the first time, doctors can diagnose without cutting the body open, a giant leap forward. World War I turns hospitals into war zones again. Inside a muddy trench hospital, soldiers groan on stretchers. Nurses and doctors work tirelessly, treating shrapnel wounds and gas burns. The horror leads to rapid advancements in surgery, triage systems, and even psychological treatment for shell shock, what we now call PTSD. In World War II, the stakes rise again. A nurse carefully operates an early blood transfusion machine, connecting tubes with focused precision. These life-saving techniques reduce battlefield deaths and usher in a new era of blood banks, emergency medicine, and critical care. And in a quiet lab cluttered with petri dishes, Alexander Fleming discovers penicillin, mold-killing bacteria. Seems accidental, but it's the birth of antibiotics. Within decades, diseases once fatal become treatable. This miracle drug launches modern pharmacology and forever shifts the balance in humanity's war against infection. The modern age of medicine is a story of speed, precision, and unthinkable progress. What once took centuries now happens in decades. We've gone from crude surgeries to robotic precision, from leeches to lasers, and we're just getting started. The 1950s marked a turning point in public health. Picture smiling children lined up at schools, sleeves rolled up, while nurses gently administer polio vaccines. Parents breathe sighs of relief. For the first time, a deadly disease is not just treated, but wiped out. Mass immunization campaigns prove that prevention can be global. Now step into a 1960s hospital room, where masked doctors perform open-heart surgery. The air is tense. A patient's chest is open, and a human heart is momentarily stopped and restarted. It's a miracle made possible by new machines, new courage, and the growing belief that no organ is beyond repair. Soon after, we push boundaries again. Organ transplants. Surgeons carefully transfer a donor kidney into a new body. Monitors beep, and a life is extended. What was once considered science fiction is now standard practice. These procedures redefine life expectancy and open ethical debates that continue to this day. By the 1980s, technology goes deeper. A massive MRI scanner hums as a patient slides inside. Within seconds, doctors see tissues, muscles, even early-stage tumors, all without a single cut. Non-invasive diagnostics become the new gold standard, catching illnesses before symptoms even appear. And now, imagine a high-tech surgical room where no hands touch the patient. A robotic arm moves with machine precision, guided by a surgeon at a console. This is robotic surgery, minimally invasive, highly accurate, and faster to heal. The scalpel has evolved into software. Then came the 21st century's greatest medical crisis, COVID-19. Hospitals overflow, and healthcare workers, fully covered in PPE, fight day and night. Behind every mask is exhaustion, but also resilience. The pandemic exposes weaknesses in global healthcare systems, but it also sparks innovation, collaboration, and an acceleration in digital health. In eye clinics, lasers replace blades. A patient lies calmly as a laser beam reshapes the cornea. In seconds, LASIK surgery is nearly painless, and the results are life-changing. Precision once unimaginable is now routine. The line between biology and technology blurs more each year. In tomorrow's hospital, a digital interface glows in the air. A holographic human body floats mid-air as an AI assistant scans for disease. This isn't fantasy, it's the edge of Reality. Artificial intelligence is diagnosing faster, learning more, and personalizing treatment like never before. Meanwhile, in the lab, scientists in sterile suits examine glowing vials. mRNA technology, once theoretical, is now a global lifeline. Vaccines are created in months, not years. The speed of science has outpaced the spread of disease for now, and deep inside the human body, a new frontier emerges. Nanobots swim through the bloodstream, repairing tissues cell by cell. Glowing veins pulse with microscopic machines. The future isn't waiting, it's already flowing within us. Medicine has moved from treating symptoms to rewriting biology itself.